Hello everyone, my name is SiC and welcome to Old World. So Old World is a turn-based 4X strategy game made by Soren Johnson, who is the designer behind Civilization 4 and Off-World Trading Company. And both of those games are very highly regarded, and many people would say that Civilization 4 is their favorite Civilization game of all time. And yeah, they just don't like 5, 6, and especially not 7 as much as they loved Civilization 4 because of some of the design choices that this guy made. And this game is kind of a result of choices that they made in Civilization that he figured, I want to try again, I want to do something different, and I want to do it, I cannot do it within Civilization because that just needs to remain Civilization. And so with Old World, he had a chance to redesign a bunch of systems. And the one thing, or there's a couple of things here that are very different from Civilization. But predominantly as well, this is called Old World, which means that we don't advance to the space age, right? We stay in pre-medieval times. And so there is a limited span of history here, but it allows us to dive a little bit deeper, I guess. And there's a bunch of other systems at play that took me a while to figure out. But a lot of them are really cool and they interact in really interesting ways. And sometimes it's not entirely clear to me. And by this time I have played and won a game. Not at the easiest difficulty, but just below normal, I think, because I needed some time to figure things out. And honestly, I bounced off of this game a few times. I've put in about 20 hours now, I think, and I still don't know everything and like how everything interacts with each other, but I've got a pretty good feeling and I'm starting to grow to like this game a lot more and more. And so I figured maybe, it's time to do a YouTube playthrough and we can do a game as a bunch of different nations here. And I was thinking we would do something interesting. We would start as Greece. Now I have all of the DLCs currently available. And so what we also have is we have a bunch of alternative leaders. And yeah, we usually would start with Philip II, who is a bold commander. But we also have Leonidas available here, and Leonidas is interesting because he is both indomitable, which means as a general, so when he is a general, we want him in the field then, he would get plus 50%, what is this called? There is a word for this, but it doesn't show up, but basically we have a higher chance of doing critical hits with this guy as a general. Critical hits deal double damage, and the chance to land a critical hit is improved with some promotions and by generals with wisdom. So the thing that is interesting here is not just that he does more damage as a general, but he is fated to die, which is a trait unique to Leonidas, which makes me really want to try it out because that is very different from what we are used to. And basically Leonidas can achieve great things, but he will not live to an old age. And he is a hero archetype, which like every character can be an archetype. They don't necessarily have to be, but he is a hero character. So he can serve as a general or an agent. As a general, he can heal in neutral territory. He can launch an offensive. And as a leader, all units heal while pillaging, plus 50 training per military unit killed, which is really nice. And yeah, we also get plus 3 courage here. So yeah, I figured, let's go ahead and give this guy a try. So I'm going to do a little quick read through of his as well. But first, we also, of course, play as the nation of Greece. And every nation starts with a bunch of unique stats, a couple of different starting techs, unique buildings, unique units, and so on. But Greece, first of all, unlocks the Olympiad, which is a project, which I'm not entirely sure what it does, but let's have a look. On completion, it gives us 50 training. When we have an Olympiad, we get plus 1 training per turn. It requires a weak culture in our city. And yeah, all right. All cities provide plus 2 culture per turn. We have minus 25% goods cost for settlers, which we of course use to settle new cities. And we have a couple of starting techs, which are ironworking, which unlocks the warrior unit, And from there we could upgrade towards axemen and spearmen. And this technology leads to labor force, husbandry and steel with military drill. We also get access to stone cutting, which unlocks the fort, the quarry, leads to stone boost, drama and polis. But drama is also unlocked. And what is also interesting about that, well, it gives us more access to a couple of buildings. We have the Odeon, which provides, you know, more culture, which is good, because more culture unlocks more buildings more quickly in our cities. And it also, we have several culture levels, and basically those are responsible for that. It enables apprentice poets to be made, which also increases the culture, but also the science, which is really nice. Unlocks Gnosticism, which is a tier 2 theology. But more importantly, what is more interesting, this game really made an interesting choice here in that this one also starts the music. So you do not get music in this game until you have researched drama, and until that time you basically have no music, you just listen to the sounds of the world. But the music in this game is excellent, and yeah, I wouldn't want to deprive you of that, so here we go. And finally, we have a couple of unique shrines, and then we also have some unique units, the hoplites and the phalangites. Alright, so let's have a little look at the bio, and then we'll jump straight in. I am Leonidas, the Aegean king of Sparta. There is no place for weakness in Sparta. Were I not better than other Spartans, I would not be the king. Were Gorgo not a woman of great wisdom with martial skills to match it, she would not be my wife. When all of Greece faced a dire foreign threat, I did not hesitate. I gathered 300 of my best hoplites and set out to meet my allies at the place where destiny is made. I know that I will not live long enough to become a frail man. If I fall in battle, my wife will marry a good man and bear good children. I do not need to be eternal. To preserve our way of life is enough for me. Right, and finally with the statistics, yeah, basically just shows us the same things, our starting tags, the unique buildings and units, the families that we have access to. So we have the Argead family, the Cypselid family, or Kypselid, I guess, the Seleucid family, and they all basically specialize in different things, and the Alcmaeonid family. The leader archetype we already know, and the starting characters is Gorgo, which is our wife. She is a tactician, which means she can serve as a general or a spy master, and has a bunch of other traits, and she is tough. Alright, so with that said, we will start with the difficulty, the strong. This is the first difficulty level, where AI is not restricted in warfare. It will declare war more freely and will use forced march. Tribal rates also become more common. And so the good is kind of like the baseline difficulty. This is normal, this is just above normal, but as you can see we have a bunch of other difficulties as well. But I think we're going to just go with the strong, because I haven't finished anything yet at the strong level. We will have a random map script, a medium-sized map, and a low event level. Or maybe we should do moderate, which is the standard event rate, I guess. As for advanced setup, we don't really want to default. Sure, I guess. Prosperity, abundant, thriving. AI plays on this level. Okay, well, let's go with that one then, I guess. Or yeah, let's go ahead with that one. 0 opponents. That is weird. No, we want to have more opponents. I said 4 opponents. Barbarians only. Nope. Tribes only is off. Default AI dynasties is off, and ruthless AI is off. Ooh, AI nations try to stop you from winning. The closer you get to victory, the more aggressive their efforts to stop you will become. All right. Well, we're going to go with the rest. Everything is going to be standard. We will not do a time victory, and we will not have an alliance victory. A random map. The map script will be Mediterranean, map size, etc., etc. We're just going to go ahead and start the game here. And here we go. So, Greece in the old world. You are Leonidas, the 17th Aegean king of Sparta, and you trace your ancestry to Heracles himself. Your elder brother Dorius had expected to inherit the throne and was so outraged at being bypassed that he left to try and colonize faraway Libyan lands. Okay, well, at least he's not plotting against us. Of all the Spartan youths, you were superior in the long and grueling training. Your understanding of military tactics is excellent, and your own physical prowess is as great as any mortal's. Alright, you stand ready to lead Greece, no matter what challenges it may face, with your wife Gorgo ready to fight by your side. The time has come for all to learn that you, Leonidas, are the greatest warrior in the old world. Alright, so we are both, let's see, I am age 31, and Gorgo is age 27. Now, what is interesting here is that every turn basically comprises of a year, so every turn that we end, our characters grow 1 year older, and of course, as you might imagine, yeah, at some point these characters are going to grow so old that they're just going to die of old age. And yeah, we're going to start a family and our family members will take over and so on. Of course, we know that Leonidas is not going to be long for this world. He is fated to die after all, but let's jump in and let's found our capital. So one thing that makes old world very different from civilization is that we can only start we can only found cities on city tiles, or basically, what are these called? I guess city sites, yes. Right, so city sites are quite rare. They are spread out throughout the land. We need to find them, occupy them, and then settle them. And basically, we cannot build cities anywhere else within that territory. So, yeah, when we click on our settler here, we have a couple of options. We have 4 families, and in total we can only pick 3 families to use in this whole campaign. So once we select 3, the 4th one cannot be founded, and we basically just have to go without their special ability or special power, like their special interests, I guess. So of course we are Greece, we are warriors, and we want to fight a lot, so I think our first capital should be founded by the Argead family, which are champions, and basically all cities that belong to this family get +2 training a year. We have +50% city defense. New melee and ranged units start with stat fast, which means we do 25% more damage against tribal units, which is great for clearing out local city sites. Our family seat, the seat is the first city given to a family and receives a special bonus determined by the family class, means we get +50% training. On seat founded we gain militia to help protect our city, and once we found this family seat they gain +80 opinion for 20 years, or basically +20 turns, and we get +4 legitimacy. Now legitimacy is a unique mechanic here as well. It is basically a thing that goes up or down depending on our actions. We want it to be as high as possible because when we are very legitimate leaders, the families will respect us more. And when we are bad leaders with low legitimacy, they will respect us less, and then they will start causing all types of problems. And we definitely don't want that. On top of that, higher legitimacy improves or produces more orders per turn. So yeah, that's another unique mechanic in Old World, which we'll get to in a second. But first, let's found the capital. And as you could see, that took 1 order away, and now we are down to 7 orders. And essentially, what we are down to is we can only make 7 orders. So we can do 7 things, and then we run out of basically command ability, and we cannot do more than that. So, we have a couple of resources here at the top bar. We have money, and every turn we get 37 money. We have 100 food, but every turn we lose -4 food. That is a problem. We have iron, and every turn we lose 1 iron, because every unit requires upkeep, and we have a warrior that basically requires 1 iron per turn for its upkeep. We have 100 stone, we have 100 wood, we have 7 orders. We can buy more of it, but yeah, in this case we can only buy it with training, and we only have 300. We have our science rate, which is +10. We have a civics rate, which is +8 per turn, and then we have training rate, which is +39 right now. And finally we have luxuries. Right, so let's give some orders here. We have a builder unit, or a worker, I guess is what we should call it. And we need to fix a couple of things immediately. We would want to fix our food problem as soon as possible, and we want to improve our iron. So we have some suggested locations. If we were to build a farm right here, you can see at the bottom right, this farm would produce 6 food. However, if we build a farm right here, it would remove the trees on this tile and it would build a farm that would build 8 food per turn. And so with that, our immediate problems are fixed. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, interestingly, we do not want to cut all of the forest because at some point we want to have woodcutters' huts, and we can only build those in the forest, of course. Yeah, let's have a quick little look at this area, man. Like, the graphics in this are great. Look at the little river. The water looks really cool. Everything has a nice scale to it, detail and realism, which we don't always get. We have this little water cave over here in the hills, in the mountains. It's just a beautiful game. It looks really good. All right, finally we have militia, which we are just going to put on as a sentry. And that means it's only going to wake up when an enemy appears within 5 tiles, because this is just a weak combat unit. We're not going to do anything special with them. And then finally we have 3 orders left to use the warrior and the scout. Now, of course, I'm going to want to use the scout to explore as much of the territory as possible. Now I see some gold over in this area. Over here I also see gold. We have mountains over here. We have a city site to the north, and that is interesting. Alright, so maybe we would want to have our warrior actually go up north and secure it for us. So actually that is going to take up all 3 of our orders, and with that we're done. And then next up we have to choose our research. And research in this game is also interesting. So basically we have to choose between 3 different researches here, but we have access to way more. So if we have a look at the tech tree, we have ironworking unlocked, we have stone cutting unlocked, we have access to police, husbandry, a labor force, trapping, divination and administration, but we only get to pick 3 out of these 6 things that are available. We even have architecture, so we have 7. And basically, yeah, every time that we finish a research, it's going to draw a couple of cards, essentially, randomly from the available technologies, right? And basically, we get to pick one right now. Then those other technologies that we do not pick, they get discarded. And they go onto basically a discard pile, just like in board games. And they will not be available until we research something else, I guess. And then basically once all of those other technologies are on the discard pile as well, everything gets reshuffled, and then we get to pick new technologies again, or we get to pick divination again, for example, or administration. Right, so we do have a recommended thing, and here we have a slinger and a camp, and definitely because we want to start warlike, I guess, trapping is good because having a ranged infantry unit is really useful. So we're going to go ahead and pick this thing. It's going to take us 8 years to research, but then the other 2 technologies are going to disappear. So that is a really interesting mechanic. We have limited orders, we have randomized access to research. Of course, we have 3 or 4 families that we have to choose, so we have to pick that, and that is going to be a difficult choice. And basically everything we do in this game costs orders. Now, for now we are done, so let's end the year. And with that we are entering a new year, and we can see we have +9 orders on the next turn as well. We're going to use a couple of those to move the warrior over to the city site, and then we're just going to put him as a sentry, and that basically reserves this city site for Greece. So nobody else can claim it until they move away this warrior, and that basically means to kill it, right? Now we're not going to do anything with the militia. The worker still requires 2 more turns, or 2 more years, to finish his research, and I do notice what is this called? An ancient ruin over here, or basically a goodie hut. And so let's go ahead and move our scout over to this location. And this is another thing here, which makes Old World kind of unique. We have events, and events are based on a huge amount of different things, different traits, the game state, and so on. So that is really cool. And of course, we have characters, and the characters are really important to the game as well. And basically, it turns it into kind of like a light version of Crusader Kings. Anyway, we have skittish bandits as an event. While exploring an ancient ruin, your forces come across a group of bandits harassing a man dressed in fine clothing, gallantly but vainly attempting to fight them off. Your group's sudden appearance, shouts and war cries startle the bandits and scatter them. The man bows low, grateful for the timely rescue. He thanks you profusely, explaining that he is a small independent merchant. Had you not arrived when you did, I fear they would have ended me, he says, offering himself and his services to your cause if you will but take him in. Now we have 3 different choices. Unfortunately, 2 of them are grayed out, so we can say we don't need another merchant on the court, but fund his trade mission so that we might profit from it. We gain a caravan in Sparta, but it's going to cost us 200 gold, which we definitely do not have. We could kill the merchant and take his supplies, but it requires us to be villainous. And to be villainous, we need to be either corrupt, greedy, bloodthirsty, ruthless, or deceitful, which we are not. And so the only option that we have is to agree to take him in and add him to our court as a court merchant. There are 4 different courtier types. You have the court soldier, court minister, court merchant, and court scholar. All courtiers can serve as generals, governors, or agents, regardless of their archetype. Their rating affects your global yields at 1/3 of the rate of the leader. For example, their charisma will increase your civics. Further, their opinion of you will increase or decrease these yield rates as well. Alright, so a court merchant is going to be added. That's interesting. So we have court members, and now we have this guy over here. He is foolish. So as a governor, we would lose minus 20% research. As a leader, all cities would have minus 10% research, which is not great, right? He is a carpenter. So as a governor, we would have new siege and ship units plus 100 experience. All cities would have plus 50 experience. And he is brave. As a general or melee of ranged, plus 10% damage against melee units. Alright. Now we can also order this guy to do different things, but I guess not right now. But basically he gives us a discipline. Everything else is at 0. But the discipline means, let's say, as a governor, our cities get plus 20% gold. As a general, plus 10% XP per unit, or for the unit per year. As a consort, global plus 18 gold per turn, and so on. So we have a couple of different benefits from having this guy in our court. Next up, we need to have a governor for Sparta. And we have a couple of choices here. We have Oligarch Phyla the Younger. I'm not sure where she comes from. She's age 24, but she looks like a child. She looks like she's 14 instead of 24. We have Audata the Gracious. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, these come from the family. So both of these are from the Argyat family, right? And so those come to us as an availability. So we could get plus 24 civics. And cities produce specialists and projects with their civics. And that's another thing we will get to in time. If we have her, we will get plus 1 order. And if we have her, we will get plus 0.7 gold per turn. She gets a little bit less civics, however. We definitely don't want to have this guy. We don't care too much about the money right now, but the science and the unhappiness hurts us. And we want King Leonidas in the field. So, I guess we're going to go with Oligarch Phyla the Younger here. It also costs 2 orders, however, to put in a governor. So now we're down to 1 more action. We could add a general. And we can put King Leonidas in the field like this. Let's go ahead and do that. That took an order as well. And so now we're done again for the year. And our scout has not been able to do the maximum of its ability, because he basically has 4 actions that we could do. But yeah, without orders to force him to do it, you know, he's kind of stuck. So let's end the year. And let's go to turn 3. Your legacy has been secured. Choose a name for your newborn heir. So that's another interesting thing here, because every turn is a year. You know, women kind of get pregnant, give birth to a child, and by the time we enter our next turn, that newborn child is basically 3 months old, because, you know, it takes 9 months to have a baby. And yeah, basically imagine if they get pregnant in the start of January, give birth in September, now it's another year, that child is now 3 months old. So this is a daughter who is currently our heir, and we could give her different names. So we can give her Gorgo, which is named after our wife, Berenice, Aspasia, or Xantip. I think we're going to go with Aspasia. Alright, so this guy, our warrior, is kind of stuck here for the time being. These guys are not doing anything. We have 11 commands, however, so maybe we can use our warrior to explore a little bit, and then we can send our militia up. But first, let's start with the explorer. So let's go ahead and just move him a couple of times, because we really want to know what is around this area. We want to especially find more city sites. Now what is interesting here is we have a force march option, which costs 100 training. We only have a couple of training right now, so we don't want to do it yet. But basically, you know, we can only do 4 actions with this guy. If we force him to force march, we can do a lot more actions with him, as long as we have orders remaining, which we do not. So we're not going to do anything with that. Next then, our militia is going to move up, and then with our warrior we're going to explore a little bit more as well. So we found the coast, that is interesting. Let's go ahead and follow the coastline a little bit, and now he is out of actions as well. We found horses, so that's interesting, but then we have completely run out of things to do, and now we save 1 order. And basically every order that you don't spend is going to get sold for money, I think, if I remember correctly. Alright, so with the farm now finished, we have +3 food, which is great. We now need to fix our iron situation, and it just so happens that we have a tile here which has silver on it. So that is interesting, because silver is a luxury. It's going to give us more food, or gold I mean. Already without an improvement, it's going to give us 5 gold per year. But with a mine on it, we get 40 gold per year. It unlocks the precious resource, and on harvesting we'll get +50 gold as well. Precious resource. Patrons +25% is for this family, the patrons. Interesting. Anyway, he's going to go over there. We're going to start building that mine. Then the scout is up next, and let's go ahead and explore this area down here. Now, we have landmarks in this area as well, and discovering landmarks as the first person really also gives us legitimacy. So, we are the first to discover this landmark. What will we name it? We can call it the Vipalm Forest. Sure, I'm okay with that. I don't really care to name things too much at the moment. Alright, with that, he's out of moves, though we have found ancient ruins nearby, so that is for the next turn. These guys are going to go ahead and occupy the city site, and then our warrior is going to make another move, and with that we are now out of options again, and we are going to end the year. Now, by default, when we start a city, that city is going to produce a settler. I haven't said that yet, but essentially on the next turn we're going to end with a settler, and then after that we can choose what to build, and I guess we could probably change it at the moment right now as well. But I think it's always wise to go for that settler, because more cities means you are more powerful, you know. And so that is definitely not something I want to turn off if I don't have to. Alright, next event. Hidden jewels. Our explorers discover a cache of jewels hidden deep in the abandoned ruins. Their orders were to explore the lands. Would you rather they exploit this discovery instead? Keep the jewels but continue exploring means we get 200 gold. The treasury would be grateful if we found more jewels. This would cost us 75 training, but it would give us 300 gold or money. We don't really have too much use for money at the moment. I think we're just going to keep exploring and keep our training, because training is used for a bunch of different things. Now, another thing that I haven't done yet is we can harvest resources close by to our city, as long as we have a unit on top of them. So here we could harvest the gems. It would give us +5 culture in Sparta, because that is the closest city. Right now we are at 20 out of 100, and let's go ahead and do that. We can only do that for a while, It needs time to regenerate, and each year it regenerates 12.5%, so there's no point in camping on top of this spot. Ooh, the woodcutting tribe, the Thracians. The emissary of the Thracians has arrived with a gift of wood in the hopes of establishing peaceful relations with us. He explains that the Thracians specialize in growing and harvesting wood in sustainable ways, and it has led to great prosperity for them. Alright, so we can say tremendous, we will maintain the initial truce, we will get 55 wood. We could cut them down, and that basically means we declare war on the Thracians, and we get +6 legitimacy, or we could such fine wood would really, or could really spruce up Sparta, but we need to be Sylvan, which means we are either tactician, herbalist, ranger, tracker, highlander, or swift, which we are not. So at the moment, let's just go ahead. Yeah, okay, and say tremendous, because we only have the couple of units that we have. We don't want to fight them yet, because the Thracians are not just a single isolated city, or tribe, I guess. The Thracians are actually much bigger. So we do get barbarians in traditional civilization sense, that always attack, that you cannot have relations with, but the Thracians are actually a much larger tribe, which have multiple city locations occupied. And yeah, they are a little bit more intimidating, basically. Right, let's go ahead and end this year. Dishonest and greedy, oligarch Philo the Younger, the governor of Sparta, is corrupt. So as a governor, we basically have plus 50% maintenance, which means we lose free money per turn. As a leader, all cities would have that, and basically this is just a weakness that kind of sucks. Anyway, partnering with Leonidas. Wow. Another great Spartan warrior, Leonidas the shield bearer, is ready to lead our people to victory. Leonidas is himself of royal blood and an experienced battlefield commander who has fought alongside your father-in-law. Now that Leonidas has returned from another of his expeditions, he is ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with you and face any threat the world may hold. Alright, so basically he joins our court as a court soldier. And we are now known as Leonidas the Ambitious, plus 20 legitimacy. A remarkable youth. One evening, your eyes fall upon the young Audata. She fascinates you with her charm, moving you in a way you have never felt before. Loyalty to your spouse stays your hand, but the heart cannot help but yearn for this beguiling woman. Oh, so we have a woman from the Argead family. We can send her away and must remain loyal. And we have a 25% chance to become miserable on the next year. And Queen Consort Gorgo will become endeared to us, which basically means she likes us more. But if we become miserable, we will lose -2 charisma. And globally, we will lose -4 civics. And we only produce 10, which is not great, because we need 400 to enact a law. So, and also a warrior will do -3 damage. We can also say, my love with Audata the Gracious is real. We become in love, and this could lead to future events. You know, let's say we are in love, because we're not long for this world anyway, right? So let's go ahead. Let's enjoy the moment. We have our settler finished, which is going to move up north so that we can settle this city site. And with that, we have only the warrior left. So let's go ahead and move down so we can see what is in this area. We have our scout, which now discovers Sahand, which is a volcano. Sure. Let's go ahead and move over here, and then we can harvest salt with our last remaining order, which provides another 4 culture in Sparta. Sure. Alright, so now in Sparta we get to choose what to build, and this is another thing that is a departure from civilization, because there you have food, you have hammers, you have science and so on. There's no science in here, it comes from the land. The only thing that we use to grow things in our city is growth, training, and then we have civics. So we have a couple of suggested things. We could grow, or we could build another warrior, which I think would be wise. We could grow a farmer, which provides us +1 growth, +1 science, and +4 food. And essentially, farmers are also the specialists. You can only build when you have a citizen available. So also growth leads towards growing citizens more faster, or more quickly, I should say. And basically, if we build this and we have not finished another citizen, then basically it requires 10 turns. When we finish this one in 5 turns, we have to wait another 5 turns before we can build another specialist. We could also do projects. We have a repeatable festival, which increases our growth, which increases our happiness, because we also have discontent to worry about. We have the culture level, and culture is interesting because we have 4 different levels of cities, and certain improvements that we can build, or wonders that we can build, they require a certain cultural level in that city. So essentially right now we are weak, and there's only a couple of things that we can build, but we can increase that by investing in culture. Discontent, is basically people being unhappy. We can fight against that. This also has different levels. So with the discontent level 1, the Argyats opinion has gone down by -20. Our research is got down by -5. Our money is, or not our money, but our upkeep, I guess, monetary upkeep is up by +5. And so none of that is particularly good. We want them to be happy. We can also do a council, and I think a council for right now is okay. It takes 1 year, but on completion we have +40% of basically all 3 of these things, or 2 of those things, and money, I guess. So let's go ahead and build that. All right, so let's go ahead, move our settler up to the north. Let's have a quick little look. So we have the ocean, we have horses nearby, we have salt nearby. Now we could found another Argyat city, but it's going to make everyone else more unhappy. We do not want to skip family seats because it increases the discontent in a city. So what we really want to do is we want to invest in another family. So we have the artisans, which gives us +4 culture per year. The mines and lumber mills will have +20% output, and we do have forests, and we do have a mine here. So that could be worthwhile. -25% goods cost for siege and ship units. Well, we are at the ocean, so that works well as well. And -2 years to build urban improvements. This might be a good contender. So they are artisans. We also have the Seleucids. They basically give us civics, which basically means that, cities produce specialists and projects with their civics, so we could increase our specialists more quickly, or build them more quickly. We would get a luxury called literature, +25% culture per precious resource, so silver, pearls, gold, and gems. And we do have access to silver, so this could also be interesting, because we would have more culture, right? +2 happiness levels per culture event. All right, so that is pretty cool. So when a city's happiness bar fills up, its overall happiness level goes up by 1, which increases growth and reduces maintenance. Some ways to increase happiness include connecting your city with the trade network, holding a festival, adopting laws such as tolerance, keeping the city's religions happy, and building baths. And also we would get a court minister. All right, and finally we have the Alcmaeonid sages, which would basically increase our civics, as well as our science, which I'm very tempted by as well. But I think for this one, we're going to go ahead and take the artisans. Oh, nearby we have, what is this? Honey. All right, interesting. And we also get a free worker here, which is great. We can go ahead and build a mine on the salt as our first official action. And salt is a luxury, but it gives us more money, and we can give it to families or other people to keep them happy. So that is definitely a good investment. Only takes 3 years as well, so that's really nice. Meanwhile, our warrior with Leonidas is going to keep exploring, and we have found the Gauls, the numberless. Interesting. A chief of the Gauls is brought to meet with you. The Belgae, the Menapii, the Senonis, the Helvetii. Our tribes are numberless, too many to name. We are strong. What are you? Now, its leader is Queen Paula. This is also randomized. She is a schemer, she is a romantic, and she is a wanton. Interesting. So, discipline -1, courage -1, but charisma and wisdom 4. So we can bribe the Gauls. We can say we can give you some money. We are wealthy and offer riches. We can give up some iron. We are industrious and offer metal. We are clever and offer knowledge. But we would become foolish. And all cities would get minus 10% research. We definitely don't want that. Or we say we are mighty and offer war. And that gives us plus 6 legitimacy. The Gauls declare war. And we were unafraid of tribes. Now we are happily, like, we can stay friends with the people down here. We can say we are mighty and offer war. Let's go ahead. We are now out of movements, which is kind of bad because these are skirmishers and they are a ranged unit. However, we are in a forest and so they do minus 50% damage, so I think we can definitely take them out and we would do good damage to them. Meanwhile though, we could, as another thing, we could spend some training to promote our unit. So we can get strike, plus 10% attack strength. We can say focus, which is critical chance. Tracker, which gives us plus 3 vision, plus 1 reveal and leads to swift, which means we have more movement. Or we could say Highlander and we have plus 25% attack and defense strength from hills, but there's no hills around here. So I think we're going to go ahead and upgrade them with strike. Right, next unit. So we have our explorer, we have another Thracian city site over here, that's good to know. Finally we'll move one more time. And yeah, I just want to see what's over here as well. Probably has a city site. There is a small city site over here as well. Meanwhile though, Sparta has finished and now that we are at war, maybe we will want to invest in a warrior. Let's go ahead and make one of those. Then our second city, Ialissus. Wow, that is a mouthful. We cannot make a warrior because we require more iron and we don't have the mines and we're still losing minus 1 per turn, which is not great. We have a worker, we don't need to invest in a settler because we don't have anywhere to settle. A scout, we already have it. A militia are weaker units. Let's go ahead and for this turn make a council because it increases all of our basic things that we will need. Now we don't have a governor, but we cannot select one because we don't have the orders to do so, so that is for the next turn. So let's end this one. Queen Consort Gorgo, our wife, has died. Well then, and our wife has given birth to a son, Duke Leonidas. Oh, so that's why she died. Alright, joy and pain. Days after the birth of your healthy baby son, Leonidas, your beloved Queen Consort Gorgo begins to feel the toll of the ordeal. She weakens, slips into a fitful sleep and dies without any pain. Your ministers advise you to take another wife soon, to maintain continuity, but your heart aches. I will marry again for the good of the nation, or I am not ready to give my heart to another. So we will become mourning. We would get minus 10% orders per turn, but plus 20% experience per year. He becomes loyal, so our discipline goes up. We get more money. The warrior gets plus 6 experience per year. But we only have, we have a daughter who is now age 5. We have a son who is second in line right now. We do have a person that we are in love with. So let's say I will marry again for the good of the nation. The court has received a new marriage proposal. King Leonidas is ambitious and oligarch Damia the Younger. What is your answer? That is not the person we are in love with. Yes, ring the bells, or no, not this time. The dowry will give us plus 10 iron. Gypsolids will enjoy us plus 40. No, not this time. Alright, legacy of the king. Greece is held together by the legitimacy of your dynasty, those with the ambition and the heritage to rule. All eyes are on you and how you will steer the nation. What will you aim for? What legacy do you wish to leave behind? Now here we start with ambitions. And this is interesting because ambitions are one of the victory conditions for the game. And essentially, if we manage to get 10 ambitions finished, we will win the game. There's a couple of other ways to win, but this is definitely a big part of it. And it can take the game in wildly different directions as well. Because basically we could choose now to lead the nation to control 4 farmer specialists. We could decide to try and control 6 mines. We could say we want to enact freedom, which is a law that we need to sign into effect. Or I will be patient before deciding my path. Now, I think farmers would be an easy choice. Mines as well. We are working on 2 mines right now. So let's go ahead and actually say, and we already have one as well. We're going to control 6 mines. And that is this one that we just finished. All right. Now here we could build a quarry, which is not a mine. So that is interesting to note. Meanwhile, we have gems over here. This also does not give us iron. So we need to find a place now to build an iron thing. All right, so we have this hill right here, and I'm looking at the bottom right. This thing has 8 iron. So let's go ahead, move over here, build a mine at the cost of 20 wood. Next up, we're going to go ahead. As you can see, we were attacked, but we only lost a single hit point because we were in the forest. And now we're going to attack them. And this is a critical hit, minus 18 HP. It was almost a 1-hit kill. And that is super rare in this game because units take a while to die. So that is really, really nice. All right, let's go ahead and explore this area up around here. And then in analysis, we are going to go ahead and make... Yeah, we still don't have the iron, the militia. We have militia, but we would need something to defend our main city as well, I guess. The Olympiad, the festival, or the council one more time, which is not really what I want, I guess. Well, we will clear a city site here pretty soon. We could go with a settler. Or go with growth. I think growth might also be worth it, I suppose. Let's go ahead and do a festival right now. Now we have 3 orders left and we still need a governor in here, so let's go ahead. Ooh, Leonidas, the shield bearer. Plus 0.4 civics, plus 1.6 training, which is what we really want, and money plus 2. That's good. So let's put him in there as a governor. Alright, and then we're going to do one last turn. Let's end this year. We're going to get attacked again, still losing only 1 HP, and we discovered trapping, which means we can make slingers now. Right, let's go ahead and finish these guys off. Liberated. A crumbling prison stands in the Gallic settlement. Scores of soldiers and citizens from Greece have been languishing here for years, most believed dead by their loved ones. Their release calls for celebration. So we can say, let them return to the families and we will gain +1 citizen in Sparta, or arm them and put them on the front. So we got +1 discontent level in Sparta, which is a whole level in one go, which is kind of crazy, but we'll gain a warrior. I think let's return them to their families, right? And we can see how many citizens we have here in this bottom, how many specialists we have, and discontent level. Yeah, so we definitely don't want to go to a whole other level in one turn. That would be kind of bad. Let's go ahead and explore a little bit more. The coastline here is something we want to see. We have a bunch of dyes over here. Next up for research, administration, the granary, labor force leads to roads, revelation, slavery, and freedom. So we would have, if we had chosen the option to make freedom our priority as what's the word I'm looking for? Ambition. This would have been pretty good, I guess. Husbandry would lead to pasture, or a free settler in 5 years. But basically, if we do not choose this, it's going to be discarded and permanently trashed forever. So this is a one-time thing that we could choose. But we are already making a settler up there. We don't have anywhere else to go. Let's go ahead and go administration, I guess. Because what does that lead to? It leads to rhetoric, to the forum, to dualism, the tier 2 theology and epics, which is, and then to metaphysics, archive, which is for science. Sure, let's go ahead and do administration. And with that, I think it's about time to put a cut in here. So actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and move these guys over here just to explore this area a little bit, because there's no enemies around. This city site has now been claimed. This guy is done. Yeah, I think this turn is pretty much done. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Please do leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this content and wish to see more. And I'll see you guys for whatever video I do next.